I learned from the time I was a small boy to hold in pain and not express it physically, not even show it on my face. It came all the way down to not being allowed to cry, not being allowed to express pain. And what would happen when I expressed pain was shame, or I would get hit for that. So there would be pain training. One of the things that my dad would do, he would show us the pressure points, and he would have Lyle do the pressure points on me, and it would hurt. And he would have Lyle continually do it, even though I was, in pain. I wouldn't be able to vocalize the pain. One time, he felt Lyle was holding back on him, told Lyle harder, and Lyle whispered, "I'm sorry." And I screamed out. Lyle stood up and balled his fist and said to Dad, "No." Dad smacked him across the face, and then he said something that to this day has always resonated with me. He said, "I didn't raise you to get weak because you feel another person's pain," was the theme that you don't.
He was trying to do it to me, but it wasn't working. It was...
When you say it wasn't working, was it hurting?
Yes.
And did you ever use that wooden thing on yourself when he wasn't around?
No.
Did you know why he wanted you, did he say why he wanted you to use that thing?
Yes.
What did he tell you?
I don't remember exactly what he told me, but I knew why. It was so that I could practice on myself so that it wouldn't hurt anymore when he did. I was 11 years old. It was just, I just didn't know. It was real confusing. He sat down with me, and he came over to me, and he said, "What sport do you want to play? You have to choose a sport." Because I was 11 years old, and he said I was becoming a man, and it was time to choose a sport. And so I said tennis. Later I found out that he didn't want me to choose tennis, that he wanted. He wasn't nice anymore during the sex.
You have to put the mic in.
He wasn't nice anymore during the sex.
Now, do you recall the first time that he wasn't nice during the sex?
Yes. Yes.
And you were 11?
I was 11.
The reason you're thinking about it, do you remember what was happening in the house? Anything you heard or saw before this incident actually began?
Yes.
What was it that was happening?
I heard some fighting with my parents downstairs.
Who was fighting with your parents?
My mom and my dad were fighting.
Between themselves?
Yes.
Was this a physical altercation or a verbal fight?
I didn't know if it was physical. I just heard the verbal. I just heard them yelling at each other.
Okay. And what happened after you heard them yelling at each other?
I heard my father coming up the stairs.
Okay. And what happened when your father got up the stairs?
He came toward my room. All I could think about was him coming toward my room and how I was hoping he wasn't going to do that.
Do what?
Come toward my room.
Why?
Because I didn't want him to come into my room when he was angry.
Even if he was angry at someone else?
Yes.
What was going to happen if he was angry at that time?
I thought he was just going to take out the belt or hit me or throw me someplace. I didn't know what was going to happen.
Did you know what the topic of the argument was between your mother and father?
No.
Did you have any concerns about what it might have been?
Yeah, I was concerned that it might have been over me.
Had there been arguments in the past over you?
Yes.
And had any of those arguments in the past over you resulted in your father physically hurting you?
Yes, he would get angry with Mom, and they would yell back and forth, and then he'd come to my room and just hit me or whatever.
So, did you think it was possibly one of those episodes about to occur?
Yes, that's what I thought was about to occur.
So, if you could tell us what happened, in fact, when he came into your room on this occasion.
He came into the room and he told me to kneel down on my bed. And
You made a sweeping motion with your right hand when you said he...
Yeah, he just threw me with his hand on my arm here.
He took you back on the arm and threw you off the bed?
Yes.
And said...
And said for me to get on my knees on the floor, and I was...
What happened when he told you to get on your knees on the bed?
I thought it might have been some sort of sex.
Why did you think that?
Because when he told me to get on my knees in the bed, usually what would happen would be for me to have some sort of sex with him, but it would do... He just told me to kneel on the bed, and I didn't understand why. I didn't know what was going on.
So did you then kneel on the floor as he ordered you to do?
Yes.
And was he dressed?
Yes.
Okay, what happened? First of all, did it hurt when he threw you off the bed?
I hit my head against the wall, but I wasn't thinking about that.
Okay, what happened next?
He was unbuckling his pants, and he pulled out his penis. And in some way, either by his hand on my head or by telling me, he told me he wanted me to massage his penis with my mouth.
And did you do that?
Yes.
And you had done that before, hadn't you?
Yes.
The beginning of what you came to call knees.
Yes.
So
I had to give him a massage on my knees until he started to have an orgasm. It's not in my mouth. I was ready to pull away like I'd always done, and then he just came on a towel or a sheet, whatever he had with him. So I was about to pull away because no, swallow, and he held my head to him.
and therefore did he ejaculate in your mouth?
Yes.
And did you swallow?
Partly. Partly.
And did this upset you?
Yes.
And how did you demonstrate being upset?
I was crying.
And how did he react to your crying?
He pushed me away afterwards.
And did he say or do anything to you afterwards?
Yes.
What did he say or do?
He said, "Why can't you just be like your brother?" He just started talking about how I wasn't a Menendez and how I was never going to be good enough to be a Menendez and how he was ashamed to have me as his son, and then he said I'd get used to it and left.
And what were you doing while he was saying these things to you?
I was just sitting on the floor crying. And I just went to the bathroom and threw up.
Now, were there other incidents like this one after this incident?
Yes, this is what started to happen all the time. He no longer had me on the bed. He no longer had me sit on the bed between his legs. He no longer had me lie down on the bed. It was just on my knees.
And in addition to your just being on your knees, was his attitude after this different than it had been?
Yes, it changed dramatically.
And how was he from then on?
He was no longer nice. He now yelled at me all the time. He forced me to do things. I had to do whatever he said, and it didn't matter if I complained or if I said no or if I said please stop. He didn't stop. He completely changed.
And when other episodes like this would occur, did you ever throw up after those?
Yes, I threw up almost every time when he would come in my mouth.
Now, how far away from... And your mother, Mr. Menendez, when you were in the bathroom throwing up because of what your father had done, did your mother ever come to you?
No.
Mr. Menendez, from this point on, when you were in that bathroom, throwing up because of sex with your father, did your mother ever come in?
No.
Now, after this incident at 11, did your mother begin to do something peculiar with respect to your body?